Hey students, this tutorial is going to focus on mole-to-mole stoichiometry. So we're going to work 3 different problems, all with the same equation. Sodium chloride reacts with iodine to yield or produce sodium iodide and chlorine. Alright, so our steps for these problems will be to make sure that our equation is balanced, to determine the mole ratio, and to use that to convert from mole of our first substance to mole of the second. Then we're going to cancel our units and solve. Alright, first and foremost, our equation is already balanced, so we can just skip step 1 for 1, 2, and 3. We're going to go ahead and get started. So number 1, how many mole of iodine are needed to react with 5 mole of sodium chloride? So we're dealing with sodium chloride, and we have 5 mole. And we're asked how many mole of iodine. So question mark, mole. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is write down what I'm given. So I'm starting with 5 mole of sodium chloride. I'm asked to go to mole of iodine, which is I2, because iodine is a diatomic molecule. Right? I need to determine my mole ratio, and I'm going to use it to convert between what I was given and what I'm asked to find. And to do that, remember, I'm going to look at my coefficients out front. So if I need mole of iodine, I need to put mole I2 on the top. I'm going to put mole of NaCl on the bottom. So I know that for every 2 mole of iodine, or excuse me, 2 mole of sodium chloride, I'm only going to have 1 mole of iodine reacting. So I'm just looking at my coefficients out front. I'm going to cancel out my mole of sodium chloride, multiply everything across the top, and divide by what's on the bottom. So 5 times 1 divided by 2. So if we react 5 mole of sodium chloride, we're going to need to react 2.5 mole of iodine with that to get this reaction to carry through. Alright, number 2. How many mole, now we're asked, how many mole of sodium iodide do we need, or excuse me, how many mole of sodium iodide are produced when 3.5 mole of iodine reacts with sodium chloride? So we're starting with 3.5 mole of iodine, and we're asked how many mole of sodium iodide should we have. Right, so I'm going to write what I'm given, 3.5 mole of iodine. I'm going to determine my mole ratio and set up to convert to mole of sodium iodide. Alright, I know that for every 1 mole of iodine, I'm going to have double the number of mole of sodium iodide. So I'm going to put 1 mole of iodine for every 2 mole of sodium iodide. My mole of iodines will cancel. 3.5 times 2 divided by 1, so 7. So if I react 3.5 mole of iodine with sodium chloride, I will have 7 mole of sodium iodide produced. Alright, last one. We'll try and squeeze this in as best as we can. How many mole of chlorine? So I'm going to erase how many mole of chlorine, so question mark, mole, are produced when 2 mole of sodium chloride reacts with iodine. So I'm going to write down what I am given. I'm starting with 2 mole of sodium chloride, and I'm trying to figure out, well, how many mole of chlorine will I have in the end? So I'm going to determine my mole ratio and use that to convert from mole of sodium chloride to mole of chlorine. Cancel my units and solve. Alright, so I know that for every 2 mole of sodium chloride that reacts with iodine, I will have 1 mole of chlorine produced. So mole of sodium chlorides cancel. Multiply everything across the top. Divide by what's on the bottom. So 2 times 1 divided by 2. So my answer is 1. So if I react 2 mole of sodium chloride with iodine, I will produce 1 mole of chlorine. Alright, so continue to practice this on your own. You need to have a balanced equation as always, and you need the mole ratio.